Hey guys, Palsteron here, and today let's talk about my day 3 update for the Glacial Bolt Amazon. After my first 2 days having a lot of trial and error, trying to decide what I want to play, making Glacial Bolt feel good, I finally come to a setup that I'm really happy with, and I want to talk about that cast on freeze explosion setup today. Now, if you aren't up to speed here, I'm using Glacial Bolt, which basically throws down these bolts, and yeah, they make walls on the ground, but you have to destroy the walls, and when you do, they explode. The cool thing is they scale with attack damage. They're not like the frost wall from Sork, right? They actually scale with your weapon, so you can have a lot of overlaps, and it perfectly fits into the build. And you know what? During campaign, putting down artillery ballista and them kind of taking care was pretty cool, because you can just put them down and they do the work. However, in end game, the speed kind of changes, right? You can't just wait for your artillery ballistas. Also, there's a lot more indoor maps where it's just super annoying to have to wait for the ballistas to fire before you can even walk. So we're going to go over the custom free setup right now. First things first, if you want to level this character or you haven't seen the last updates, here is the planner. It will be down below in the description. And also my last update covers it. So I'm still pretty low level 74, and I just got into endgame, and I'm just gonna quickly show you something so you can kind of see how this build plays and kind of how the explosion works. So before, how do you explode the Glacial Bolt walls? If you look like here, walls 171% damage. This got buffed by 57% this patch. One of the biggest winners of the patch, and it was already okay, decent. There just wasn't really any tech for mapping. Now, converts 100% of fizz to cold. Very nice. It has a good explosion radius, yada yada yada. These are the ice crystals and their life, and here's where it gets a little bit tricky, because you need to actually be able to kill them in one go, otherwise it gets very clunky, so you'll have to play around with levels. Let's get in and show you this real quick. So, the way this works is we fire down, after this excruciating low screen, we fire down the Glacial Bolts, and you can see that 1 or 2 of them already get exploded right here, right? From the next shot already, right? Because the next shot, like, it also has a shot. The shot is what makes the walls. So a little bit of it gets already exploded, and that's how enemies, for example, get frozen, and then our cast on freeze pops off. And the way this works is you have cast on freeze with freezing mark. Now, this one is not just the first part with more freeze buildup, which is very nice. It's also a Nova. And what a lot of people don't know is this Nova here has its own base damage, but it's an attack, right? So it scales over your attack damage, kind of like a Herald, has its own base damage, but it is very low, right? So how do you even get it to kill these icicles? And the answer is you go Penetrate. So Penetrate is a ability here. Attacks using a weapon have added physical damage equal to 25% of accuracy. Now this is a decent one, right? Like a decent ascendancy. Because here you have 650 accuracy. We do the math. 650 accuracy times 0.25. There you go. 162 flat. Imagine getting 162 flat in one of your rings. Very strong. However, accuracy is a prefix, so it's not that easy. In total, it still comes out to around about 20 to 30% more damage later on in the game. Maybe even more if you have a perfect crossbow, 70-80% more damage or whatever. But for now, the important part is this is global, so it also works for the mark. Now, if these are ever in your way, you can just jump over it. Later, it's going to be blink, which is going to be way more comfortable. But as you can see right here, you just go in and you kind of explode. Boom. If you're wondering why I'm starting recording here, I just went through half of the map and I didn't have custom freeze on. So that was a genius move. But yeah, in general, very calm build. Against single target, you can pre-stack quite a bit of frost walls. I'm still trying out some stuff here and how it works. But you can see most of these are not blocking anymore, which was one of the biggest problems with the artillery setup before. Now, sometimes I still put down the artillery ballistas because they do also kill like residue walls that I had, right? So as you can see right here, they kind of help, and they're just like a very quickie hit. You can just kind of like put them down while you're moving. So that is in general how it works. In terms of damage, I have a very bad crossbow, but like the thing about bosses or big rares, as you saw right there, is that they have a huge hitbox. So what happens is all those crystals overlap, which usually like there's a few leftovers. So basically the TLDR is the bigger the enemies, the crazier your single target damage. Okay, I actually have some rares back there. But yeah, I just wanted to show you how it works. Let's kill this rare real quick. I think this one is like ghosted or whatever. Okay, got him. All right. This is how the build works. It is incredibly safe, as you saw right here. I have literally no defensive anything right now. I don't even have evasion, even though I should be evasion based. I don't have much energy shield. I'm working on it currently. This is probably going to be my next body armor. So this is like as squishy as it goes, but enemies just don't really exist because they can't walk. Like all the melee enemies, like good luck. Their wayfinding is completely off constantly. So yeah, and obviously everything is frozen as well, right? So okay, let's look into the setup. So skill wise, we're starting off with Glacial Bolt. Quality, extremely important. Once again, you start off with only one shot, which feels awful. Once you have 3 shots, it's crazy. It's just so much better. You want Cold Infusion, Primal Armament, Scattershot. I'll say right here, none of these are min-maxed in PoB or anything like that because I don't even have the clusters or anything. That will all come later. Right now, I'm just progressing. Artillery Ballista, I just put them down sometimes. It's actually very cozy. Like they're kind of like, they kill stragglers, right? They attract attention. It's really weird because when you have the walls down and enemies already don't know what the fuck's going on, even if they survive, they sometimes go for your ballista, and so it is kind of, it is so weird. It's hilarious. Then you have Cast on Freeze, which you would want to get quality on as well. I'm sure there is some energy breakpoints here, but yeah, like I said, I didn't have time to think about that too much. Freezing Mark is probably the next one I'm going to quality up. This one gives you more freeze buildup, which is obviously incredible. And once again, this scales with attack damage, so it does quite a bit of damage. One thing you can do that isn't always 100% reliable is, so you want to actually like proc the walls, right? So you need to know how much damage you deal, how much damage you have to deal in order to actually proc it. So you can look here and you can see the damage and then assume that you get some buffs outside and then kind of determine at what level you want your Glacial to be at. Because the biggest fallacy with this build is to level up your Glacial Bolt too much. So far, my damage has been ramping up just as much as the walls. But if you look right here, the wall HP actually scales, right? So right now, if I had everything ramped up, I'm pretty sure I would be at like 6k damage. But if I leveled this up like 2 more times, I might not be able to. But then I get upgrades and then it's fine again, right? So for example, a buddy of mine is currently at on this and he's at level 19 with it, but he kind of said level 20 is a little bit awkward. So yeah, that's something you'll kind of have to figure out. But I'm pretty sure in endgame, that's going to be a non-issue. But if it feels like trash, that is probably why. The scatter shot just makes more walls, right? Now, overabundance, so you can have 2 down at a time. Just nice, cozy, right? Lightning infusion. What the... Oh, it's because I have these gloves on, just so you know. These gloves are a non-issue. Look at the stats. That's literally all they do. That's like a... Basically a rare with 3 tier 1 suffixes attack speed. Like, those currently are pretty annoying to get. I have like 5 exalts left or whatever. So that's why I'm using these, just so you know. So that's why I'm using Lightning Infusion, but usually you wouldn't, right? So that's a little bit confusing maybe. Freezing Mark, Impetus, Ice Bite, Energy Conservation, whatever the other one is called, would be my 5 link. Herald of Ice, I have Precision on this currently, but once you have more auras, you obviously want some damage here. I have Magnified Effect, I have Ellie Focus. I haven't totally thought this out yet. Hyperthermia, Heightened Curse, Cursed Ground. Pretty straightforward. You put it down against bosses. I wanna make this clear again. All your damage is from Glacial Bolt. Like Artillery Ballista was nice during leveling, I know, right? Like, but it falls off like a brick in endgame. So don't even think about it. It's just there for the ice walls, which it is good enough for. Thunderous Leap. Like I said, if you, I don't know, let's say you're like get by this. I mean, you can usually run through somewhere, right, or dodge through it. Like you can see right here, maybe you can't walk through it, but you can dodge through it. But sometimes, especially indoors, this can get quite annoying. So then let's say you just thunder asleep over it. Yeah, that's pretty good. Ball Lightning, this is actually a tech I yoinked from Jungron. I did not know it worked like that. That's pretty damn cool. So what you can do is you put a Ball Lightning in, then you open your menu, you say weapon set 2 only, used with weapon set 2 only, so you untick the 1, and now it's basically snapshotted to the offhand, which I kind of knew it worked, I just didn't think they would let you do it, but it's pretty damn cool. So you apply critical weakness, so against bosses, basically what you do is you pre-fire like this, like let's say he's doing his animation or whatever, you pre-fire this, and then you go into your spiel, right? Now, you obviously also want to pre-fire some of these, but you can't pre-fire too many, so yeah, just a lot of stuff to pre-fire before a boss, which is very, very nice for a single target. So all you need is this Effigy of Cruelty. I would definitely go for 5 stacks. This is way easier to apply. I haven't really thought about the support yet, gonna be completely honest. It should probably be inevitable crit with deceleration, and then we're gonna see from there. And also, this taught me that you can actually use a focus and a spear. because I can use Thunder Asleep and Ball Lightning from Elephant. Who would have known that? Now, another thing I did is I actually went for a accuracy crossbow right here, and this one is terrible. So all you need to know is there is a accuracy roll that goes up to like 550 or whatever, and there are runes that give you up to 110 per. And those will, stack together. And this local accuracy you have doesn't just scale your crit here. If it only scaled your crit, it wouldn't be good enough because it takes up a prefix slot, which could be damage. However, Penetrate makes it like amazing. So as you can see right here, I just did the math real quickly. 162.5 flat fizz, which is on crossbows incredible. I have 1.82 attack speed. So yeah, if we do the math there, that is like getting an extra 292 DPS. So while you can see here that my weapon is dog shit on paper, 203 DPS, and I bought this one for like 1 or 2 exalts, this is akin to a 500 one, which is currently very expensive. All this to say that you don't have to do it if you get a really good crossbow. I'm just telling you right now that all the Deadeyes, for example, are buying up the high DPS ones. So if you go for this, you will be a lot cheaper. However, when people catch on to this, obviously that's going to be different. I'm just telling you to make 2 searches and kind of like compare there. Otherwise, I just upgraded some stuff to get some extra resistances. Yeah, as you can see, my gear is ridiculously bad. Don't really buy this one. Basically, I wanted to do something with companions, and now I'm kind of stuck with it. But it does give you a cute evasion, a little bit of crit, a little bit of dex. I would personally not buy this again. I don't even know how expensive it is right now. But these gloves you should 100% get. They're like 1 exalt, and they like the fire to lightning. Just forget it exists, but the rest is like premium. Other than that, I'm actually using anti-freeze. Not sure if I should use anti-stun, but usually freeze is bigger of an issue because I usually don't get stunned against ranged mobs, and melee mobs usually don't hit me. But that's about it. Oh yeah, as for my passive tree, I didn't really change much from last time. You can see it right here. It's also going to be in the planner, obviously. The only thing I got was Coming Calamity, and I got Acceleration. I'm not 100% sure I'm going to proceed. Do note that this is only sheet accuracy, so right now Falcon Dive doesn't give you much. This will be a very end game thing. And one thing I'll have to test is how Pinpoint Shot works. I'm not 100% sure if it's the chicken or the egg that comes first, right? Like, does this calculate into your crit, or does the crit calculate into your accuracy? I'm not 100% sure, right? Like, we'll have to test that out. This crit wheel up top is ridiculously strong. This last node is okay. We already have a lot of base crit. These small points are also very premium, so I'm definitely going to go up here. I might play around with companions, but I'm already starved for spirit. And then I have this 1-point jewel that I can take, which is nice because jewels are kind of scarce nowadays. Quickie FAQ right here. First up, leveling question mark. I have a full leveling planner for you. Once again, I'll link it down in the description. And yeah, there is notes right here. So read the notes. I would 100% encourage you to do that. Leveling, I don't know, they nerfed a lot of early game stuff. When I played it, it was an absolute shit show until level 31, right? Like normal bow start that everybody did, but it's like, yeah, I mean, the game right now, the first 30 levels were not fun. I'm gonna tell you right now. I don't know with what build it would be fun. Maybe, like, I've seen most people rage. But at level 31, when you get Artillery Ballista and you get your Glacial Ball, kind of like the combo going, it is really, really nice. Now, second one, I'm not critting what's going on. So one thing about Amazon is this node right here makes it so your accuracy kind of works as also a crit multiplier, or like a base crit. So what happens is, if you go to the walls right here, you look at the crit, 38.6 to 65.62 estimated crit from basically accuracy, right? If you stand further away, you're going to get like the 38.6. I don't know if it can get lower, not 100% sure, or you maybe don't even hit, but I don't know if that's possible. But let's say you get this number, but if you stand further on top of the enemy, you get this number. So that is kind of the difference. So against bosses, you 100% want to stand point blank. So if the boss is here, I'll put down my artillery ballistas and I do this. This is even more true because later on, we're probably also going to go for stand and deliver. And we might be going for nearsighted, but that depends on how the build is going to play out, if we can actually pull that off. Then we have, I'm not killing my walls, what's going on? So my biggest advice would be very cautious when you level up your glacial bolts, because the walls go up quite significantly. They go up by like, I don't know, 30-40% per level. That can get quite steep, and you need a lot of extra damage to do that. Now, the problem is you might already have quality, which is super important, on your gem, and then you level it too high. What can you do? Well, there is actually a solution to that. If you look right here, 50% less life. Ice crystals created by supported skills have 50% less life. Yeah, this will help you out. It costs you a support gem, but if you think about it, right, like when you level up your gem, you also get more damage. So if you get an extra 2 to 3 levels out of using that support, that's like having a support that gives you 20% more damage that you otherwise wouldn't be able to realize. So in endgame, it's not going to be a thing, most likely, hopefully. But otherwise, it is a very nice temporary solution. The next one is I'm pushing enemies around, but not damaging them. What's going on? So the thing is, there's actually some mobs that I would say you encounter them every 10th map or so, that get knocked back more. I don't know what to say. Like, most things get knocked back by this by a little bit, and you still hit them with the AoE, but some of them get knocked back so far that it's like awkward. So there is a chance that my endgame setup is actually going to have magnified effect here, so that doesn't really happen. But yeah, all I can say is it is an annoyance and is something we'll have to work around. I can definitely see putting in magnified effect and then having like a concentrated effect weapon swap. My walls are in the way. I hate this, so I'm also a nervous like wreck right when it comes to this. So if you're just like casting for no reason and there's no enemies to proc anything, yeah, it's gonna be annoying. But like I said, get used to just using Thunder Asleep or later Blink. I don't really see an issue because you would probably blink anyways, because Blink is very, very fast. Like I said, I will have that set up as well soon. Probably going to weapon swap. Yeah, most likely going to weapon swap. But that's all I can say for now. I mean, I don't really know what else to say. Blink is going to be pretty much fine. I know this is annoying sometimes, especially indoors, but yeah, should be okay. Is this better than Galvanic Shock Burst is also a question I get a lot. So if you don't know, Galvanic Shock Burst is currently the meta crossbow build. And I already played this build, basically. I played it with Explosive instead of Galvanic, but the Shock Burst, like everything was kind of the same. So I didn't want to play the same build again. And this one seemed very spicy, and there's a lot of weird things right here. For example, if we look at some of the new support gems like Verglass, I'm wondering if you can actually pre-stack this on bosses quite a bit. Somebody in Junk's chat said it the other day. I tested it earlier. It was very clunky, but I think it was because my ice crystals just very, very healthy. But they are getting healthier and healthier, and if you get 1% increased damage per 2,000 maximum life of each of the crystals, and it actually stacks up, and you level up the crystal HP to a certain point, that is kind of wild. So there's definitely a lot of potential, and especially on some of the endgame bosses who have a very big hitbox, this skill is just kind of spicy. Also, you gotta realize that freeze and kind of like how you disorient people can be quite nice. Enemies, sorry, not people. Hopefully not. Hopefully you don't disorient people. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. There's a lot of payoffs there. If you want to go super safe, you're not in for like a ride. I totally get that. Just go Galvanic Shock Burst. But in general, I'm having a blast with the build. And it's also because I'm a content creator and I want to make actual interesting content instead of just playing the same build everybody else plays. It is what it is, right? So that's something you can decide yourself. Maybe try out both skills, kind of like go back and forth. I will tell you this, during campaign, I tried out Galvanic. It is like night and day. If you're playing Galvanic right now early on, it is like night and day. Like, this skill deals so much more damage. Now, obviously, if you can make the Shock Burst work and it's actually consistent, then it's going to be fine on single target and everything. But this skill is like absurd early on. So that's all I'm going to say. Later on, I'm sure the dynamic changes. But yeah, that's all I got for now. Hope you guys are having a blast, whether you play this, whether you play Galvanic Shock Burst. I'm going to be updating this build. I'm pretty sure there's still a lot of tech out there for this because this is one of those build archetypes that hasn't really been explored much. And when it comes to exploding frost walls, we've seen in the past, pretty broken. It's scaling with your weapon, pretty broken. Might get this to insane levels. I'm sure people are already doing it, right? Like, I already saw clips the other day of people sending me what they're doing. They're already like level 90 or whatever, one-shotting tier 16 bosses and whatnot. So yeah, we'll get there. I'll get better gear. I'll keep you up to date. And since I still don't have a slogan, see you next time.